In the last video, I installed the RESU16H Prime from LG, a high voltage battery with a lot of great features. And in this video, we're going to install the Solis S6 11.4 kilowatt high voltage hybrid inverter that's going to pair well with this LG battery. The battery install was on my other channel, East Texas Homestead, but all energy builds moving forward will be here on Home Energy Independence. If you haven't watched the last one, go ahead and check that out, and then let's get started. So the fan absolutely killed my audio. I wasn't wearing my mic, and so I was just talking, and it didn't turn out well. But the first thing in this box, we've got a bracket. As you can see, I'm looking at how it hangs on the wall, and I'm looking at the foam, handing it to my dad. There are a few boxes that are in here, and we're going to open up each one and take a look in a moment. But I'm going to set them aside. Then we've got a couple of bags. One's got the Bluetooth antenna and the data logger in it and a couple other things. Then the only thing left to do is awkwardly shake the box and wrestle the slippery plastic and then throw the box away. Bad audio incoming. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so it actually comes with quite a bit of stuff. We've got the meter that's going to clamp onto your L1 and L2. It's color-coded with black and red. That's nice. And then we've got a couple of ferrules. Actually, these are really deep ferrules, too. I've not seen any like that before. 4 of them. And then we've got some tiny ferrules for the communications. That's great. And then we've even got some ends here for the Ethernet cable and stuff falling around. A couple screws, Torx, and then some anchoring screws and some more, looks like M8s, some glands, and I'm thinking this is a Bluetooth antenna. And then we've got the Wi-Fi module, parallel cable, and finally the mounting bracket. And that's everything that comes in the box. Next thing I'm going to do, I've got the cement board drying. We're going to get that hung on the wall and then go ahead and get this mounted to it. And then we'll start wiring it all together. The inverter's not too heavy, but 2 people definitely make it an easier job. Then after that, we're going to go ahead and screw in the security screws that basically just keep it from coming off the wall. These are pretty simple. There's a couple of them here. Don't get them too tight, but get them in. Then I opened up the battery and I started to take off this danger high voltage inside cover. Definitely don't want to go poking around inside here, but there's 6 screws. Just unscrew them all and pop that cover right off. I'd already installed this gland, as you saw earlier, and now I'm just connecting the watertight conduit here, and now I'm going to connect it over to the other side and pop it right up in here into the inverter. Make sure you don't do what I did the first time like this and forget to put the nut on there. Then you have to take it back off and you got to stick it back on, and then it all goes back together. You can see it's a little loose. I probably need to tighten it up a bit better. And cross-threading it, that's not what we're supposed to do. So I've run into a little bit of a problem, and that is that right here, the comms port, I think that's going to be, I don't know, 1/2 inch. But this is larger, 3/4. So I've got the 3/4 liquid tight that I've been using here, and also this is 1 inch. This is a 1 inch hole here for the battery. 3/4 inch here, 3/4 inch here for the comms, and I'm guessing 1/2 inch right there. So that doesn't fit, but it does fit here. Screws on quite nicely. And so what I'm going to do, and I'm sure there's a better way, you guys can rip me apart in the comments section for this, or give me some good examples. I'm going to take the end that they have here that they supply for the inverter, and it just thread it inside of the liquid tight conduit. And honestly, now that I've got this threaded in, I can't take it out. But luckily, I could unthread it, but it's very difficult. And then I'll go ahead and use the correct fitting on the other side. And this is just going to have an Ethernet cable traveling through it, so this should be just fine. So on this side, I just leave the little rubber gasket on there, taking off the lock nut, and just threading it inside. Am I going to cross thread everything in this build? Golly. I did eventually get it in there right. Here I've got my 3 strands of number 8 AWG. This is kind of crazy. Like, the craziest thing about this high voltage stuff is that I can use number 8 to go from the battery to the inverter. Like, most of the time we're using like 2-watt. I'll stick one of them in here. Go ahead and get that one in there. There it is, it's up. Stick this next one in. I mean, it's like typically we're using wire that's the size of this conduit. So it just seems kind of crazy here. There's the next one. I'm using all black 8 gauge, but I've got each end marked. So where it's clear that I've got my L1, L2, and so on. So the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and take the ground and land that over here on the ground bar. Okay, oops, didn't mean to do that. So we'll get that in there for now, and then we'll land it over here on this side. And these are push connectors, and I don't have ferrules that are the correct size, unfortunately. So we're just going to be sticking them in here stranded. So ground is in the middle. I'm just going to push it in there, give it a tug test, and it's not coming out. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm going to pull my slack out here, have that up there. All right, then we're going to connect the positive. Positive is going to be our red. Earlier I said L1 and L2, but I meant positive and negative in this situation. So we got positive. Pushed it in, tug test, and then negative. I also should mention, be sure to check with a multimeter that you don't have live voltage here before you do this, so you don't end up shocking yourself. And while we've got those, let's go ahead and test the voltage again. Go over to DC voltage, and we're going to touch these two. 0 volts. I'm going to close this for a moment. So then what we're going to do, we're going to take the positive, I'm going to lift up these two, like that Wago style connector. I almost think you're going to break it. Positive in here. Now this will receive the number 6 gauge, but you can't put 6 on the other side. And this would be if you're going to be paralleling multiple batteries, you connect those two together with like a Polaris connector, and then you take the 8 and the 2 8s into a connector, then take the 8s into this number, into the 6. In this case, we're just going straight to the right size. Tug test. Going up through here. Oh, that one didn't catch. And get all the way up there. In fact, I'm gonna take that one a little bit higher up. They go in there farther than you think. Not coming out though. Oh, it did come out. Holy moly. All right. I'm not sure how much I like these. I'm wiggling it around. I'm really trying to get it to come out now, because I didn't like how that popped out last time. Okay, well, it appears to be in there now. I'm gonna leave it just like that. So one thing I'll point out is right here, there's a QR code to download the latest manual, and I really dislike the fact that these don't come with a new manual, or a manual at all. So if you want a manual, you have to sit there and like scroll on your phone or go to your computer and print it out. I hate that. I wish manufacturers would go back to just giving us a paper manual that we can flip through. Yes, it's going to be outdated, but at least the basic instructions on how to set things up will be correct. So at this point, I've got my Cat 5 shielded cable. It doesn't have to be shielded because you're going down a separate conduit. I could probably get away with going down this one, but we're going to go ahead and do what the instructions say. And I've got both ends crimped with ferrules, and I've got brown stripe, orange, and orange stripe. It doesn't matter what colors as long as you're consistent. I'm going to go from the top and push in and see if I can get it to come out the other side. It's going to be, actually it wasn't bad at all. Look at that. So there we go. Got these guys here and these guys here. Now we're going to land them on the RS485 ports back here on the communication board, and then over here on this one as well. So I want to point out that the RS485 ports, you've got enable 12 volt and you've got enable ground, and then you've got the RS485A plus and RS485B plus. That is the order on the batteries, but it is not the order on the inverters. So we've got to remember what we're going to do. I'm going to go brown for the enable 12 volts. Now, you can stick a flathead screwdriver in here, a real tiny one, but I find just the tip of my multimeter works just fine. So I'm going to push that in there, get this guy all the way in, pull out the multimeter, and it's in there nice and tight. So I'm going to go brown on the enable 12 volt. I'm going to go brown stripe on the enable ground. Okay. Then I'm going to go orange on the RS485A plus and orange stripe on the B minus. If I were doing this again, I would put the battery cables in after I did this just because they're kind of in the way. But on this, you're just kind of pushing these guys up. They're not levers like these. They're more just like, I don't know, hinges. So all the way on the right, by the two jumpers, we've got our enable ground, and that's where we're going to put our brown stripe. And then next to that, we've got our enable. That's going to be our brown. Stick it in the hole, and then you lift up on that tab and just kind of push it up. Then the next one over is RS45B minus or B, and that is going to be our orange stripe. Not a lot of room for your fingers in here. All right. And then finally the orange. That's going to go in the A slot. Tug, 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 tug. Now for the dip switches, if you just have a single battery, the left one is going to be all the way down, and the right one is going to be all the way up. And obviously if you have a secondary battery, you're going to put the battery in positions you see there. Secondary battery will be up, down. You might be tempted to go ahead and put the cover back on. Eric, it's backwards. Okay. But don't do this yet because you're going to need a serial number that's underneath it, so just hold off. The next thing I've got to do is get this load center up here on the wall. But, you know, it's currently all turned on and everything, so I'm going to have to kill the power up at the house. And I think I'm going to take this guy, clean it up, put it here, and then beneath it, I'm going to put my grid in, and it's going to come up into the load center, and then it's going to go through this, and then back through, and then we're going to take it out of this guy, and then go into this, which will probably have to go right here. I don't want to kill my water yet, so I'm going to have my wife flip the breaker, and then I'm going to move this up here, and then have her turn it back on so we can be back up and running. First thing I've done is connected the ground so that I've got the ground from the inverter connected over here to the ground on the loads panel. And the loads panel is grounded down to the grid panel here. So now I'm going to start, just so I can just kind of be out of the way, I'm going to first start over here on the loads. I'm going to connect the load lines here, and then, or the load conductors here, and then I'm going to connect the grid conductors here. The inverter comes with these ferrules. These are really long. I
I guess. I don't know. They seem ridiculously long to me, but maybe they go all the way in there. They really. I guess they can. Okay. Oh shoot! Got that one stuck. Okay, just let go of it. Yeah, it'll take the whole thing, which is kind of bonkers. Look, it's going to come out the top. My ferrule crimper, on the other hand, is not long enough to take care of the whole thing at once. I'm going to have to crimp it twice. Back up to this outside. All right. So, starting on the left, we've got L1, and then we have L2, then we have neutral, and then we have ground. And from what I've seen, this ground here is a dead lug. At least that's what Kelly over Signature Solar said. So I'm not going to do that. I've connected down here to the PE or ground bar. So first I'm going to go ahead and connect this black one to L1. So I'm going to lift up on this tab and insert this all the way in there. And it's not going all the way. So, you know, I'm gonna trim off the end of it. I just think that's a bit excessive. I'll snip that off like that. There we go. That way we don't have any exposed conductors. Tug test, it's not coming out.
Yep, that's right. It came out, and I didn't even see it. I guess I should have left the rest of that on there.
Now we're going to do L2 and L2 in my setup, and in most setups, it's going to be red, unlike with the positive and negative. What the mess? How did this guy come out? I don't understand what happened. What? Did y'all see what went wrong? I don't know. I'm putting that in there again. Alright, so we've got L1 and L2 in here. We're going to clamp them both down. Tug test on both. I don't know what happened. I don't know how that came out, but it did. And now we're going to get our neutral in here. Our white. And he's in. All right, so that's it for the load side. Now we're going to move over to the grid side. This is going to have a much larger conductor. I'm going to go with the number 6. This is 8. I'm going to go with 6 gauge here. And I'm going to go ahead and take the neutral into this side. It appears to be basically... yeah, it's swapped. You know, you would kind of want to see it the same, but it's not. So neutral is going to go on the left. So now we've got all of our conductors in here. We've got our battery positive, our battery negative, our L1 for the load, our L2 for load, our neutral for load, neutral for grid, L1 for grid, and L2 for grid. And then also we've got our battery ground and our grid ground and load ground.
Moving on to the CT clamps, you see right here, I'm going to have to pop off these 4 wires so that I can pull this, the end of the wire through it. On the downside is going to be the CT clamps. So here I'm putting the CT clamps for the accelerometer down here in my grid shutoff box. I can't remember exactly why I placed them down here, but something in the instructions made me think that was the best place to put them. Notice that the L1 and L2 are color-coded, so your L2 is going to have the red and the L1 is just going to be black. Now, the instructions say to have the arrows pointing toward your grid. Well, Kelly did that, and it ended up being backwards. So when I went in here, I actually placed the arrows toward my inverter as opposed to toward the grid, and I still had to go ahead and swap it to make it backwards in the software. So I really don't know. It seems to be quite confusing.
All right, so now I need to basically connect these back together.
I took it off so that I could fit it through the conduit and make it a little bit easier to install down below. Sorry about being off camera here. I think I fixed it in a bit.
And smack that shut. It's got a little blade in there so it cuts it. I don't have to worry about anything like that. Black, red. All right, and then on the red side, I'm going to go for L2, I'm going to go black and red as well. So that's it, just like that. And of course, this is supposed to go on a DIN rail, but I'm going to have to just, tuck it in here somehow.
I did end up installing a DIN rail up in the top right corner of the box, and I think I showed that in a little bit as well.
What's interesting to me, this is going to go down here. There we go. No? When I do this, it shows L2 and L1. But the way it's set up is this is L2 and this is L1. So I feel like I need to switch that. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and switch these over. I don't like the fact that it appears to be wrong. Now, I mean, I could just be completely wrong about it, but trying to follow what it says. So I'm going to put L2 on the side that says L2. Should be this side. And maybe it's set up from the factory for, like, maybe other nations, they don't do L1 and L2 as red and black, or black and red. They do them as red and black. I don't know. We'll see. All right, I got that in place now. So now when I install this right here, click it into place, L2 is on the left, red, L1 is on the right.
Next, I stripped back 2 wires on a shielded cable, and I just did blue and blue stripe.
So now we need to communicate with B and A. And so I'm going to make A blue and B blue stripe. A blue, B blue stripe. So we're going to go in like this. So I'm going to look at how this goes in. It's going to be the 2 middle ones. So A is going to be on the right, B on the left. I'm going to cut these back a little bit. And again, this has got blades on it, so you just get it in there, push it down. That's it, just like that. So once we look at that, we can see we've got our B, which is the blue stripe, A, which is the blue, and of course, then we've got this guy who popped out. That's fantastic. So let's fix that.
Yeah, if you're keeping count, I think this is the 3rd time I've had a wire come out that wasn't supposed to. I really don't know what the deal is with this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just having an off day.
All right, I got it back in there, give it a good tug test. I'm gonna slap it back in. We are still gonna need to make our power connection here. And that's gonna go land on 2 breakers here. All right, so I had to switch some stuff up right here. I had to improvise and make my own pins, which I definitely highly do not recommend, and I'm going to end up going and trying to get another one. But you've got these green clips, and somehow either my box was missing them or I somehow lost the one that slides in there. It's probably on my end. I probably lost it, but I've spent 2.5 hours trying to find it. Can't do that. I did mount a DIN rail here, and I've got this in. Out of this, we've got our...
Okay, I'm going back and reviewing this as I'm editing, and I'm realizing that I didn't even hook up the neutral. So that was definitely added later, and it didn't really seem to change anything, but I did add it later.
Our L1 and our L2, and it's going to go into these 20 amp receptacles here, L1 and L2. Excuse the white wire, but I do have it marked red. And so that's what we're going to do on that. I've got these guys in here. The last and final thing that I need to do is take this Cat 5 and I need to splice it in back over here so that we can get the electricity meter wired in on this side, and then we will commission it.
On the left, I have meter A, which is blue, and the meter B, which is blue stripe.
We've got our Bluetooth antenna. I'm gonna unscrew this cap, take off this red little protected cover. Take this guy. Whoa, that's weird. It's actually a backwards thread. So I was sitting there trying for a while, but turn it counterclockwise. Wild. Next thing is the logger. So we're gonna pop that off there. And we're gonna move this to where it's facing out. Pushing those little tabs. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and flip on my main breaker here. I've got the inverter in bypass, so instead of being up and off, you want to turn it counterclockwise to bypass. You can see the indicator came on, battery is showing low, but we don't have the battery turned on at this point, so of course it's showing low. However, we should have energy coming into the well pump though. So we've got the power coming up in here. Let's check our phases. Let's see, we'll go like this. All right, 240, yeah, there we go, 240. 120 across the white and the red, and 120 across the white and the black. Now let's see if we have anything. We should have something going out. We also have 240 going out. We have 120 across white and black. That's L1 and neutral. And 120 going across L2 and neutral. So we're good to go there. We should have nothing. Of course, this is going to be DC, so switch over to DC volts. No voltage on the battery. Looks like Wi-Fi is trying to connect, but it doesn't know what it's doing yet because I haven't gone in to configure it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the battery on. Right here, flip this breaker to the up position. Our LED indicators are doing something. Shows it's turned on. Now this is showing the battery's dead. Let's see what we're seeing on DC voltage now. There's no voltage. And the inverter's dead. Nope. Alright, looks like we need to commission it, go into the apps, and do the appy things. So right here we've got a QR code to download the app, so I'm going to do that now. App not available. This app is currently not available in your country or region. That's hilarious.
But first we need to set up an account on your computer. All right, head over to DuckDuckGo or Google or whatever, and we're going to go to LG ESS battery. Going to go here to the ESS battery USA. Make sure we're on the US page, which we are. We're going to go to the LG enblock manager. Forbidden? All right, probably does not like my VPN. So let's pause for 30 minutes. What a bummer. I really hate whenever companies do that. It wants to know your location. Never allow my location. All right. Welcome. You must scroll down. Stop watching today. What? It's going to give you this alert every time you come in here, but if you're not coming from the old monitoring app, then you can just ignore this and hit stop watching for today, and then of course it'll remind you tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to close that. Don't have an account, so I'm going to sign up. All right, so we've got a bunch of stuff here that is, oh, actually, head on over to the DIYer. Now, if you want to go through the LG installer certification, you can do it as a company. You can take the tests, and that'll help you out, probably with warranty stuff. I'm going to go over here and do the DIYer. Looks like they're going to send me an email, come back, paste it in there. And now I'm going to create a password. Oh, a max of 12. Bummer. So I'm going to go back in and customize this. I've got a 16. I hate when they cap you at a low level. I like to have like 25 character passwords. Only alphabet numbers and special characters. Ah. All right, well, what do I have in here? No, at least one number. Okay. Okay, I gotta take out some of the characters that I had. I don't know what it doesn't like here. There we go. So apparently it doesn't like the caret symbol, which is the shift 6 symbol. I don't know why. It's a special character. Usually these things allow for that, but not this one. I'm going to stop watching for today. All right, sign in. Hopefully this works. Huzzah, we made it. At this point, we need to download and go to the enblock manager app.
Let's go ahead and commission. So I'm going to tap on battery. Up here at the top, it says commissioning. I'm going to tap on that. And it needs camera access. So yes, got camera access. I'm going to come around over here and I'm going to scan that. I'm going to hit save, go to the next step. Let's identify the model. It's got the serial number. Now it wants to go for the inverter brand. I'm going to say Solis, not solid. Solis, thank you, autocorrect. Hit OK. Then the inverter model, and it is the 11.4H US, which I guess is the only one that's supported. I don't know. Save and proceed to the next step. He wants to use my location. I never do precise. I want to hit allow once. The password is going to be the MAC address plus 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end of it. I'm going to hit the connect button. I'm going to go connect to the Wi-Fi for this device. And here you can see it's the only other one I've got. It's the RESU, and then the number. I'm going to connect to that. Now I've got to find the MAC address. Unfortunately, it's underneath this guy, so we got to get in there again. I thought I was done with that, so I closed it all up. Should have known better.
What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this faceplate off, and then I'm going to take a picture of the little sticker that's on the chip, and then I'm going to flip it around upside down so I can read it, and then I'm going to take that bottom number, and then that's going to be my MAC address, which is all good information to know. However, you don't need to do any of this. Really, you just look at the Wi-Fi, and it's going to say RESU_ MAC address number. So you just take whatever that number is right there, remove the RESU_, and then you're going to add that 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end of it. And that's your password.
It's the bottom number here. So you should be able to highlight it, copy it, go back to the Wi-Fi, tap on that, paste it in, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hit join. Nice. Weak security. Okay. But at least we're in. So now let's go back over to the app and connect the battery and proceed. Location information permission is required for smooth operation. Oh man. Location. While using the app. I'm not doing precise location. The battery is not connected. Turn on Wi-Fi. Connect to the battery and try again. Looks like I went back to this one. Let's jump back over here. What do you mean it's not connected? We're connected to it. And see, this is the problem when you don't allow for, like, I find this all the time. If I decide that I don't want to give all my personal information away, I end up having apps not perform. The battery is not connected. Turn on Wi-Fi, connect the battery, and try again. But it is. So we're going to turn Wi-Fi off. We're going to exit the app. This is unfortunate. Start the process over. Battery. Commissioning. There's a battery that was installed previously. Are you sure you want to continue? Okay. Battery status. The battery is not connected. Turn on Wi-Fi. But see, it shows that, okay, we were not connected.
I messed around with this for quite a while and eventually figured out that the enblock manager app absolutely hates your privacy. So it does not allow you to log in if you have a VPN installed, or at least if you're connected to your VPN. So you have to turn off your VPN and then you're allowed to access the app.
Okay, so now it shows that I'm actually connected to the battery. That it wasn't showing that earlier. So it shows I'm connected. Battery status. There's an unregistered product. How do I register it? Batteries. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's try this. So I'm going to tell it, let's go to this one. And the password.
You might have just seen how the save button slid up over the connect button. And so when you do this and you hit save, it's going to give you an error message.
Time zone.
And it doesn't actually save the Wi-Fi credentials that you just placed in. After putting in those credentials, you have to slide up and then hit connect and then fill out the rest of this information and then hit save. Otherwise, you're going to continue to fault out. You're not going to get the information you need, and you're going to be frustrated.
Central. We're going to do single. We're not doing this in parallel. Reboot. Click the button to reboot after completion. If automatic connection does not occur, connect manually. Click the button to reboot after completion if automatic connection does not occur. Okay. New name. Let's go. Well.
I do not believe that it is helpful or necessary in any way, shape, or form to rename it at this point. In fact, it then gets rid of your serial number, and so it's hard to reconnect and have that information immediately. So I would recommend that you don't rename it.
Speaking of wells,
because I renamed it here, now I have to go back in and select the new well house, which is the name of the new network. And then I have to go back in and type in the credentials. And of course, I don't remember what they are, so I'm going to have to go back in and find them. And it causes just more frustration.
okay, it's still showing the battery's not registered. I guess because I didn't make it all the way through the commissioning.
So watch carefully. I'm going to go to type in my password, and then I'm going to hit save because that's the logical place to push the button. And then you'll see the connect button that's right behind it, but I didn't notice it at this point. Watch this. It's super tricky, and it will get you.
No. Battery setting should be single.
Nice. See, because I went down and set the single beforehand, now whenever I hit the password button, the connect button will actually be slightly up higher. Yeah, see right there? And so I noticed that, and I didn't even realize what I was doing, but then I went ahead and hit connect, and you'll see disconnected changes to connected right there. And so at that point, I can continue on, set the rest of the settings, and then hit save,
Okay.
and
Single,
then we'll get it commissioned
reboot,
properly.
Save. Okay. I think I'm going to go through the commissioning status again. This is ridiculous. Commission. New installation. I come around here. Tap on this guy. Hit save. Inverter brand. We're looking at Solis. Model. It's the HP, or it's the 11.4. Save and continue. Connect. All right, connected to what? Connected to this one. Going back over. Connect and proceed. There we go. All right. You must update each firmware. All right, update. Don't quit the app. It's updating.
This update took a little less than a minute.
Okay, so we got the RMD updated. Now let's go ahead and update the BMS. Looks like it's quite a few versions back. We're going to give this a minute.
This one said that it could take up to 10 minutes, but it took about 2.
There's no internet connection. After connecting to the internet, please try again. That's funny. The battery is not connected. Turn on Wi-Fi, connect the battery, and try again. Okay. Okay. The firmware is being updated. There's no internet connection. Okay. Firmware is being updated. It's funny that it gives you those errors. I'm going to pause and come back. So it ended up being stuck in this infinite loop, but what I did was I realized that it had reconnected to my Starlink Mini out here and then was just like looping around. So I disconnected from the Mini, reconnected to the battery, and it turned out fine. So I'm going to update the DCDC and do this. Oh, 20 minutes, great. We'll be back. All right, finally, that was about 10 minutes. Says it's finishing. Waiting, rebooting. You can see the lights are doing stuff down here. No internet connection after connection to the internet. Please try again. Alright, so I'm going to double check, and sure enough, we're on the other old Wi-Fi, so let's get back on the correct Wi-Fi. Let's see it available. There it is, Well House. Nice. Okay, so it's taken a second, but there it is. All right, great. And now the save and proceed to the next step button is available. So we're going to do that. And now we're finally back over here again. ETH Mini.
You can see it's already connected, so this was actually pointless. However, I was trying to walk through the logical steps that it was leading me into, and nothing ever told me not to do this again. And so I just assumed, because of my past experience, that I had to keep doing it and doing it and doing it. But I didn't notice the connected right there.
Connect. Okay. And then that's correct. We're going to go to single. I feel like I've done this 9 times. Save and proceed to the next step. Firmware. Single. It's the Solis. I can see the state of charge, so that's cool. I'm going to hit OK. The commissioning will end. Would you like to disconnect the battery and register to the system? Yes. There's no internet connection. Okay, so I'm going to go off of this Wi-Fi, get over to my Mini. Okay, the commissioning will end. Yes, into the commissioning. There's no applicable system. Please search again. To add a system.
At this point, you're going to go ahead and fill out all of this information. You're going to put in your system name, your full name, your address, your phone number, your email address, all the things that they don't need for you to have access to a battery. Then agree to everything, and then proceed to the next step.
Save and proceed. No applicable. Environment. I don't know if this is indoor or if it's outdoor. It's like other. There we go. Other. Camera. There it is. Use photo. Save. The photo has been registered on the system. Okay, there it is. Activated. Nice. Okay. So then we can get back to battery. Battery status. The battery is not connected. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't understand why it's still doing that mess. But I think that's okay. Let's move on to commissioning the inverter. Alright, so now we're going to go going to go look for the Solis Cloud app. Solis Cloud. Looks like it's this first one here. It's made by business. Huh. I think that's it. We're going to go check it out. So let's go open. Solis would like to send you notifications. Allow. Thank you for trusting and using Solis. We attach great importance to protection privacy. I guess agree. Data overview. Okay. So we need to do register. Now, from what I think I know, I'm going to have to do organization. Otherwise, I won't have access to actually set it all up. We've got organization and owner, and the owner is basically, you get to look at the stats. So I'm going to go to organization, and I'm going to enter my email. So get verification code, and please complete the security verification. Okay, I'm going to move the puzzle piece where it belongs. I'm going to click that. I'm going to wait for the email to come through. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to go to my emails, copy it, go back, enter, paste.
At this point, you're going to go ahead and give in your organization information, your company name, your email address, your username, and your password. You know, I hate this kind of thing, but here we are.
Okay. I guess it's giving me an organization code. I really don't know. Superior organization code. Enter superior organization code. I don't have one of those. I don't know what that is. And we're going to go US Central Time Zone. I don't know if we're in daylight savings or not. Register. Log in, return to home. All right, so I think what we need to do here is go to service and local debugging. This is not intuitive at all. Bluetooth connection. Solis would like to use Bluetooth, allow. Now I'm looking for the INV. So it looks like that's it right there. So this is where you're going to want to set up a password for the inverter. Okay. Now we're going to walk through this whole process here. Enter the date. It is indeed 8/8, and the time is correct. And I'm going to use follow phone time. Next step. LG16H. Next step. And we're going to do, this is the acral meter. So this is step where we're looking to see what we've got here. This is the acral. Okay. Next step. And grid code. Our grid code is USA. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do this UL240V18. I'm going to hit save, and grid neutral connection. If grid neutral is connected, it indicates split phase system. If grid neutral is disconnected, it indicates single phase system. It is connected. Next step, self-use mode for peak shaving. I feel like I'm going to do peak shaving, but time of use is going to be important to us. So this is where I'm going to set it up to have my inverter only use grid power when I get free energy at night. So I'm going to say charge and discharge settings. So we're going to discharge. We can say 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. And then we're going to go from 9:01 through 6:59. Huh. So I guess what I need to do is say from, because it doesn't really give me that option to make that fun little deal. So So I'm going to go from 9 Oh, that must not actually set. It didn't set. 7 to 21. Confirm. See, it's not actually setting. That's crazy. I'm gonna kill that one. 7 to 21. Okay, there we go. Now I need to add a charge time from (2101) to 6:59. Sweet. Allow grid charging, yes. Battery reserve switch. Time of use. Battery reserve. Turn that on, because I don't want the battery to be completely like drop down. So I'm going to say 20%. And at 20%, I want it to kick back over to grid. And the grid charging power limit at watts, I'm going to say, like, just for now, I'm going to say 2,000 watts. Okay. Cool. Hit complete. Whoa. Alright, I don't like that it's showing 27 watts going to the grid. It's got a fault.
So this fault, UVGV01, is a under voltage fault, and essentially it's low voltage. You can't find it anywhere, and when I called into tech support, they didn't really even know what this was. Apparently it's not really documented anywhere, but the general sense that we got was just that it was low voltage. And it's coming from my grid. Since it's traveling such a long ways, there's a little bit of voltage drop, and it didn't like it. And it doesn't show up all the time, but occasionally.
Definitely should not be putting anything back to the grid.
This is another one of those things. It constantly sends and receives grid power just almost needlessly. All day long, it'll just be sipping a little bit, then it'll be sending a little bit, just when nothing else is happening.
Jeez. Like a wasp chasing a butterfly or something.
So I spent a great deal of time trying to figure out if the power was actually being sent to the grid or coming back from the grid, if my CT clamps are on backwards or forwards or whatever. It really took up a lot of time. But at the end of the day, it's just going to send some power back to the grid. That's what it does.
It does show 0.5 amp going that direction. I don't like that. I'm going to flip the grid off. Now it shows no power going backward. It was showing going out, and I ended up going over to somewhere. Advanced settings, meter settings, CT direction, and I reversed it. Apparently I put the clamp on backwards. I had seen Kelly's video where she put it on the direction that I initially put it on, and then she had to reverse it. So I put it on the opposite direction, and I still had to reverse it. So I don't know what the deal is. There's that. So the next thing I'm going to do is go to grid feed in. I want to limit this, and I want my feed in power limit value to be 0. I don't want there to be any feeding into the grid. Okay, now we got that. All right, the well pump just kicked on, so let's take a look and see what's happening. We see I've got 5885 watts, 5,885 watts, and it is going over from the grid to here. Now I don't cancel, no. That back button, I keep thinking that back button's going to take me home, but the back button tries to get me out of the Bluetooth settings. I'm curious why it's not pulling from battery right now. We'll have to figure this out, and I still have this fault. So maybe it's a update thing. So let's go ahead and check out updates, see if there's anything to update. I'm going to go to settings, device upgrade, and check the updates. Okay, it's already up to date. Check the updates, it's already up to date. Check the updates, it's already up to date. Okay, well, that's not helpful in this setting, so bummer.
It turns out I actually did need to update everything, but since I hadn't connected to Wi-Fi yet, it wasn't showing that. So let's take care of that next.
All right, whoa, I'm super blown out here, sorry. So that's just the sun, that's where it is. That's what it is. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna now do this whole dongle thing. So we're gonna go to services, and then I'm going to go to Wi-Fi configuration. I'm going to allow once. And I'm going to scan this. And scan this code right here. There it is. Got it in. I'm going to configure by Bluetooth. Can't get your location information.
I found if you just hit settings and then you go to the top left and hit back to the Solis Cloud, then you don't have to actually give it location access, and it'll let you go back into it.
Okay, now I'm going to hit the one that looks like the dongle. It's got the D. Loading it, Wi-Fi name, password. Whew, the sun is hot. Start configure. Now I don't know if the ETH Mini, if the Starlink Mini has a 2.4 gigahertz distribution network success. I guess it does. Apparently you have to have 2.4. It doesn't work on 5. Okay. So I guess we'll back out of it. Go back over here. There are no plants, so we're going to hit add a plant and work through all this stuff.
This video is already way too long, so I'm not going to walk you through every step in adding the plant. I think you can walk through basic info, the tariff management, the link account, and then the more info on your own. And I will see you on the other side.
Okay, so that was basically, man, it's so bright. That was basically it. Now, over here, we've got the DC disconnect. I'm going to turn that to the on position. And that should actually allow the batteries, the battery to start doing something here. Let's look here. I still got this fault here. Now the fault, so under voltage, basically what's happening here, as I figured it out, is I've just got too much voltage drop coming from my grid. So unfortunately that's causing some issues there. But that's all right. Let's go back to home. It is still showing 30 watts coming from the grid and 245 watts coming from the battery. So I'm kind of curious. I'd like to turn off the grid. It's in bypass. I want to flip it over to inverter mode. And give it a second to update. Man, the sun is killing me. It's like right coming through there. Oh my gosh, it's bright. Okay, so now we're actually doing backup. Now, why is it sending power to the grid? I'm going to turn off the grid. And I'm going to turn off the well. And I'm going to go drain the well for a second. Alright, that should have released enough energy so that the well pump will need to kick on, or at least enough pressure rather. So let's try this again. We got 0 watts coming to or from the grid, 20 watts of load, and that is essentially just the Starlink. Of course it's in fault, probably because there's no grid. No grid. Okay, that's fine. When I did this earlier, it made really weird noises over here on the well pump. And it kind of freaked me out. So let's see what happens. There's something wrong. That's not right. I wish I knew. Like, that can't be good for the capacitors of the well. I just don't know why it's unable to run it. Turn the grid back on. Okay, it's happy, it sees the grid. It still won't do it. But in bypass, flip it over to bypass. Why? It's pulling 5,885 watts. Should be able to do 11,000 watts just fine.
I was pounding my head up against the wall trying to figure out what was going on with this thing. And after one of our Thursday night live streams on Unplugged Live, Rodney Hunt was like, Eric, well, what's the battery rated for? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. The battery is not rated for this amount of power. So I got another one on the way, and that may or may not get us out of the woods. You're going to have to wait and see. However, that video will be right here. Click that when it's available, and I'll see you on it. Otherwise, check out this one. It's the best one for you right now.